What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Auto Auction Rebuilds. This is a vlog that I wasn't even sure I was going to make because today is probably the most serious day that we've had on this channel pretty much since its inception. What I have in my hand here is, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of pages of documents trying to prove every car that I have purchased and every car that I have sold, including copies of the titles, where the cars went to, and all of this is because of an audit. Yes, today I'm being audited by the state of Oklahoma's Used Motor Vehicle Commission because a YouTuber decided to play some games because they didn't like me. They thought I had said some things about them that I didn't say. So they made some complaints, filed some reports on me that were not true. And because of that, well, I get to do a very fun audit today. Also, I get to meet with the Environmental Protection Agency because the same person went and filed complaints with the EPA saying that I did some things down in AAR headquarters. So they're coming out today to inspect my entire property, the land, everything. So today is going to be a really fun day. By the end of this video, I guess we're going to find out whether or not I still have a car dealership, or if I didn't get all of my ducks in a row, if all of my paperwork is not perfect, well, there's a very good possibility that we may be out of business. So we're going to take the Dodge Charger today. This is a car that I really don't drive all that often, and I drive, as you can see, the Escalade is still sitting right there. I drive that every single day. This one sits most of the time. I'm trying to be cautious of my mileage. This is so much fun. Oops. Let's turn that down. There we go. Well, at least if things go bad today, I've got a really nice, comfortable place to sit and to cry on my way home. So I guess let's get into the story. This actually involves two different people that are on YouTube, and I'm not gonna come out and bash either one of them or tell you who they are. If you know, you know, and if you don't need to. This whole thing, even though I'm still dealing with it, this is an ongoing process for me, guys. So this is something that's been happening for over a month now. The YouTuber that made these calls and filed these complaints also attempted to trademark my business name, which is Auto Auction Rebuilds. That person, I actually have an LLC for Auto Auction Rebuilds as well. That person went and filed for a trademark using my business name so that they could try to shut my channel down, because they could submit that documentation to YouTube and say, hey, that person owns the name and I'm stealing it and using it, and it would force me not to shut down my YouTube channel, but it would have forced me, if it had gone through, it would have forced me to change my YouTube name, which is my brand. Now, that didn't happen. I filed for my trademark. My trademark is currently listed on the United States Patent and Trademark website. You can type it in and it comes right back to me. So I own the trademark. It is my business. And even though this is a major headache, I mean, I can't, the damage that has been done here, if you were to pursue financial compensation, it would be a lot of money. It would be an insane amount of money for what has happened here. Filing false complaints with the EPA and filing false reports to a government agency, you know, not just the EPA, but also the State Motor Vehicle Commission here in Oklahoma. These are things that could get you in a lot of civil trouble and legal trouble. I'm not pursuing any of those avenues. Truthfully, I just don't care anymore, guys. And I think some of these people that are, they came out here thinking they were going to destroy my life and it was going to ruin me. I don't think they understand where I'm at in life, okay? I had a health scare a little over a year ago. I had a gallbladder that got very, very sick on me. And I was informed, even though I didn't know it at the time, that my gallbladder could have killed me. And I had to have an emergency surgery that removed the gallbladder, then found that I had a hernia, so I had another surgery at the same time to remove the, or to fix, I should say, to repair the hernia, which has failed. Now I've got to go in for another surgery to get a mesh done. What I have learned is that life is short, and I don't take any crap from anybody. And if that means you want to file complaints and make my life a living hell, you know what? You go right on ahead, because at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I love what I do. I love making videos for you guys. I love rescuing old cars and giving them a second chance at life. But at the same time, I am tired. I am so tired that I just don't care. If they shut me down, I'm not going to come out of this meeting today crying and wondering, what am I going to do? How am I going to survive? I've told you guys before, and I told this YouTuber this as well when he was threatening me. He wanted me to pay him $1,500 for something. I don't know, through Zelle, and I was like, that's not happening, dude. It's not going to happen. And if this YouTuber is watching this video, it probably feels like I'm taking digs at you, and I'm really not, but I've got to explain where I'm coming from, and hopefully you watching this video, you know, you can see the damage that you caused and the headache that you have caused me and my family. You have to remember, this isn't just about me. I'm raising a 17-year-old kid who is going into the military. I mean, we are a very respectable tax-paying family. Donated thousands and thousands of dollars to Cars for Kids last year. You know, some of you may not like me, and that's fine. I can be abrasive. But it's one thing to not like somebody, and it's another to come after their way of living. It's another whole different thing to come after somebody's income and try to destroy their ability to make a living. And I'm here to tell you, you can try all you want. I don't care. That's the point I'm trying to make. I don't care. If they pull my dealership today, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Let me tell you something about me. I come from a place that most people would never imagine coming from, okay? I come from extreme poverty, and I have overcame a ton of obstacles to get to where I am today. And if you think that calling the EPA or getting me in trouble with the state and pulling my dealer's license is going to end what I do, not a chance, man. I am built to find solutions. This is what I do. This is what I specialize in. I specialize in drama and finding solutions to complex problems. I've been this way my whole life. I am exceptionally good at it. So, if you were to ask me, Randy, are you scared walking into this meeting where it could be hours of sitting down, going through papers, and hoping that I can explain everything? The answer is no. I'm not scared. And the reason I'm not scared is because I don't care. Now, don't misunderstand me. When I say I don't care, it's not because I'm cocky or arrogant. It's because I'm tired. I have been fighting and struggling my entire life. And this job takes up an insane amount of my time. It really does. YouTube money is great, but in my case, it requires almost all of my time. It is a soul-sucking job. It takes everything from me. And at this point, I would almost welcome the break. I would almost embrace losing everything with open arms. And when I say losing everything, this is something else I tried to explain to this other YouTube person. And that was, you're not going to cost me everything. I could lose YouTube today, and I would be just fine. Granted, it would be a major life change for my family and I. Okay, don't misunderstand. We would definitely be in a different tax bracket. Financially, it would hurt, and there would be repercussions and consequences for us. But at the end of the day, my family and I are going to be fine. I have strategically set us up in a place to where we could lose YouTube and we could still pay all of our bills and we would be just fine. So worst case scenario right now is I lose my dealership. I saved the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel's not going anywhere, so we still have that. Worst case scenario today is we lose the dealership and I get a major fine from the Environmental Protection Agency, also known in Oklahoma as the Department of Environmental Quality. So the EPA took on the case, they forwarded it to the state, and now we have the DEEQ coming out to inspect the property. So that's as bad as it can get, guys, and honestly, it's not that bad. It's worth mentioning also that the state, even if they do pull my license, and I don't know how that's going to work. Like, if they pull my dealer's license, what happens to all the cars on my lot? Because they can't just take them. You know what I mean? They don't own those cars. I own those cars. You can't touch the cars. But, like, what happens? Because obviously I'm a wholesale dealer. As a wholesale dealer, I cannot sell to the public unless we go through a dealer that's willing to kind of broker the deal, which I've done a few times. But how, like, when it comes time to unload all these cars, because obviously I cannot keep all of the cars that are sitting down at AAR headquarters, what happens to all of those cars? How will I be able to unload them? And then what happens next for us? Well, as usual, as soon as I realized this was a problem, I already looked into a retail dealer's license, and that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to get any more specific than that, and it would not be in Oklahoma, by the way, okay? Because if they pull my wholesale license, that's it for Oklahoma. But there are other ways of getting things done, all right? And like I said, I'm pretty good about figuring stuff like that out. And thank you to, special thank you to Jason. You may know him as Santa's friend, a very good friend of Santa's workshop. He's also become a very good friend of ours. But there are other ways of getting things done, and I'll just leave it at that. And, you know, at the end of the day, do I want to lose my license here? No, I'd prefer to keep doing things the way I'm doing them. I enjoy doing what I'm doing, but worst case scenario, I'm going to be fined a bunch of money from the EPA and from the Motor Vehicle Commission, and we move on. It's that simple. Now, if you're wondering who this YouTuber is, or these YouTubers, there's actually two of them. I'm not going to tell you. Okay, I'm not going to get into it. The main reason why is after this is the part that's almost comical. We squashed the beef. All right. After all the damage was done to me, we squashed the beef. The thing is, though, is there was damage that I was getting ready to do. I'm to a point in life where I will not just sit back and take shit from people anymore. I'm tired of walking on eggshells in order to keep the peace. So at this point, if somebody ever decides you want to go to war with me, it's on. I don't want it. I'm not interested in the drama. But if you're going to poke me, I'm going to poke back. And that's where I'm at in life. And it's so frustrating to me. I almost had to do something I really didn't want to do. I mean, we were literally a day away from doing something very big, very publicly, and very big because of this whole situation. And it would have probably been a pretty big deal. It definitely would have been great for views. If you like drama, this would have been the one, man. This would have been the one. And I swear to you, the day before I pulled the trigger on this deal, the whole beef was squashed. The person that's done all of this reached out to me and explained that it was somebody else that had been feeding him lies about me, saying that I had said things, that I had done things I didn't say, things I didn't do, things that if you had known me at all, you would know I would never say or do. But whatever. At that point, the person reached out and they said they wanted to squash the beef, and I was like, you know, what a convenient time to squash the beef. Because now you've done all the damage you can do to me. Well, I won't get into it. Doxing me publicly, man, just publicly doxing me, saying things that aren't true. This person came out and said I'm a convicted felon, and I'm not a convicted felon. I have never in my lifetime been convicted of a felony, not ever. The best part is this person had proof. They showed proof on the screen that I was a convicted felon. The problem with their proof is they didn't read it. It showed on the screen that they were holding in their hand that the case was dismissed. You want to know what the felony was for? the felony was for a bogus check. Like 10, 15 years ago, it was a bad check. I wrote a check for a car for $500. Since it's already exposed, I might as well just get it out there and expose myself, right? It was a $500 check for a beat up old bullnose, I think is what they call them, Ford F-150, total hunk of junk truck that I bought back in the day when I didn't have very much money. As it turned out, I didn't have enough money in the bank to pay that check. I don't know how that happened or what happened, but this is why I got in so much trouble. The person I wrote the check to, it was the sheriff's son. The sheriff. No BS. The sheriff's son. So they thought I tried to pull one over on them. It was just an honest mistake. Well, I ended up locked up in jail for a while. They actually extradited me from one county to another county to another county. I went through 3 counties being taken to court for this. I ended up paying off the check. Obviously, we had the money. There was just an error with our accounting, and our bank account was not where we thought it was. We were easily able to put the money in the bank and pay for the check, but that wasn't enough. They decided they wanted to really take me to court. I had to hire a lawyer. I know, this simple check ended up with me having to hire a lawyer to get them to drop the charges, and that's exactly what happened. The person got paid back, and they dropped the charges. I was never convicted of a felony. Never in my entire life. And that person was also saying that they should send the police out to my house because I have guns. It's true, of course I have guns. I live in Oklahoma. I live in America. Of course I've got guns. Are you kidding me? I've got guns and I got ammo. It makes sense. This is kind of how we roll out here. So they wanted to send the police to my house and was saying on one of the videos, somebody should have the police go out there. The police can't do anything. Okay, you can't enter my house without a warrant. Can't get a warrant without probable cause. If you do, I'm going to sue the shit out of you, and you're going to make me rich. On top of that, I was never convicted of a felony, so it doesn't matter. Next, the person came out and said that I owed thousands and thousands of dollars to the state of Oklahoma for back taxes. That's again, not true. This is all, I'm telling you this, even though most of you probably never seen the videos, you probably don't even know what I'm talking about. Videos have since been deleted. I appreciate the person doing that. I'll say that. And again, if you feel like I'm digging at you, I'm not. But obviously, surely you can understand that I'm pissed off because I didn't actually do anything to you. Someone lied to you and said that I did something, and you just took them at their word and decided to make my life a living hell. Well, that sucks. That's all I'm going to say. That really sucks that you put me through all of this because of something someone else said. As far as the taxes, yes, I did have what's called a tax warrant. This is many years ago. This was a tax warrant in the state of Oklahoma over $6,700. Okay, here's what happened. You have to pay your taxes, obviously, by a specific time. I did not pay them on that specific time. I was 1 day late. And Oklahoma does not mess around. 1 day late, and on that day, they filed what's called a tax warrant against me. This is not a warrant for my arrest. Okay, this is not I'm in legal trouble. It was a tax warrant. I got notified immediately of this tax warrant, and I paid the taxes immediately, the same day. So he showed proof on his video that I had a tax warrant. Boom, Randy owes all these taxes. But again, on the same screen that he was screaming about me having this tax warrant, it showed that I had paid it. It was dismissed. I paid the tax warrant the same day. It was like June 19th of something or other. I paid it the same day. And he showed it on the screen, but he didn't even realize it. So everything this guy said about me was not true. None of what he said was true. Obviously, again, if we go back to legal and civil issues, this is slander, but this is definitely damaging to a brand. But I want to make it clear, I'm not doing any of that, man. I'm not going after this guy for anything, for any money, but I feel I need to clear my name and I need to clear my reputation because of these things that were said about me. It's just, these are all childish, petty games. And it's hard for me to imagine doing this to another person. I could not imagine having someone come to me, let's say it's my best friend, okay, let's say Monkey Wrench Mike, comes to me and says, hey, Randy, Santa's Workshop said this about you or did this. All right, I'm going to be the first to admit, if my best friend came to me and told me that somebody that I knew was saying something about me, yeah, I'd probably be inclined to listen and believe it. But do you think that I would just arbitrarily jump off the handle and start trying to destroy the other guy's life? No. I would be very cautious around that person. You know, if I suspect them of talking trash or doing something, I would be very cautious and I'd be very suspicious. I'd probably bring it up and ask them some questions. But ultimately, would I try to steal the trademark to their business so I could steal their name? No. And this person, by the way, they did steal my name. They actually changed the name of their YouTube channel to Auto Auction Rebuilds Official. Then they changed the name of their Instagram and Facebook, if I remember correctly, to Auto Auction Rebuilds Official. They actually stole my channels and my page's names and used them as their own. Again, the damages on something. This is huge. This is all huge. You can't do these things. And I could never imagine going after somebody because I heard that they had said something or heard that they had done something and trying to cause them this kind of trouble, or even having the free time to do something like this. It upsets me. And it upsets me for multiple reasons. But one, after this guy apologized and we talked a little bit, I don't really have much to say to this person. Even though we squashed the beef, I can't be friends with this guy. You know, I can't be friends with this person. You tried to destroy my life. You attacked not just me, but my family, a business that I've spent all these years building. I can't be friends with you. Never. It's never going to happen. But after a few brief conversations through email, I realized something. And I watched the video. He did a video apologizing and taking everything back, which you can't take back what you've done. But I watched the video and I thought to myself, this is really a shame. It kind of hurts my feelings a little bit. I think we could have been friends. I do. I didn't think so at first because of, you know, some of the nasty things and some downright disgusting things had been said. I was like, wow. Anyway, I thought there's no way. But after actually talking to this person a little bit, like as a person instead of someone that I hate, I realized, damn it, if all this hadn't gone down, we probably could have been friends. We actually have quite a bit in common. So it's sad. It's sad that instead of making friends, instead of figuring things out, well, that can never happen. So we're almost there. I'm 5 minutes away from, I don't know how long this is going to take. It could take all day. It could take a couple hours. I have no idea. I feel a little bit nervous. Not because I could lose my dealer's license. I'm just nervous because it's an audit. And who the hell ever wants to do an audit, man? This sucks. But at this point, it is what it is. So, you know, here in a little bit, we'll come back and I'll be able to tell you, like, what's the damage? Am I just being fined? Are there going to be, you know, obviously, I don't know anybody that does perfect paperwork all the time. I think I have relatively complete, honest, accurate paperwork, and that's the best I can do. So, am I going to end up walking away with fines? Am I going to walk away and we lost our dealer's license and we got to figure something else? I don't know, but it's still just absolutely crazy to me, the amount of damage that this person did. On the flip side, there is a silver lining to this, and that is, now that this person has exposed everything about me, now that this person has called the state of Oklahoma on me, and now that this person has gotten the EPA on me, once we are finished with all of this, no matter how it goes down, we're done. We're done. You know, it doesn't matter who else calls in and starts making complaints. It won't do any good anymore because I've already proven everything that there is to prove. So filing any more complaints, Won't do any good. So, if this is what I had to go through to make that happen, then I guess at the end of the day, it was worth it. We are now 2 minutes away. 2 minutes away. That was a guy driving, never mind. I thought he was driving the wrong way down a one-way.
Continue on northeast.
I hate
half a mile.
these types of situations. I really hate having to go in with all this paperwork and hope to God that you got all your T's crossed, your I's are dotted, right? It's a pain. I guess, guys, we're going to roll up here and we're just going to get this done. And whatever happens, we're going to be okay. And if not, well, then we'll find another way around, right? All right, guys, wish me luck. We'll be back. So the audit is over, and you know, earlier in the video I said I didn't care, and I really believed that when I said it. I meant it when I said it. And now that the audit is over, and I know how bad things are, I do care. Does that even make sense? Like, I just got hammered in there, guys. Hammered. I thought this was going to be like one guy, and we're going to sit down and talk. No, it was a group of 5 guys. 5 people were going through this stack of all of my paperwork simultaneously, and everybody has questions about what is this, what's missing here, why is this missing, where did this, how did this, and I'm trying to remember every car. There's 43. I didn't even know that number. They figured it out for me. There are 43 cars that I have sold in that stack in the last 7 months. When I tell you that this was one of the most stressful experiences of my life, you know, I've been through a lot in my life. But there's something about having a group of guys around you that are all looking for anything you did wrong and finding it. Every one of them finding something wrong with everything that I've been doing for the last 5 or 7 years that I've had this dealership. To say my nerves are shot is the understatement of the year for me. So it did not go well. It did not go well. I tried explaining to them, I don't even want a dealership. I don't want a dealership. I told them, I said, you guys forced me to start the dealership so I could do my YouTube channel. All I wanted to do was make videos. That's it. I just wanted to make videos. I lose money on all my cars. Even when I was selling them as an individual, I lost money on all of my cars. Now that I'm selling them as a wholesale dealer, I lose money on all of my cars. I'm always losing money, and that's fine. It's part of how my business is structured. It's just how this works. And I'm fine with that. But good God, this is insane. And the worst part of it, and I'm genuinely hurt right now. Like I'm not BSing you. My heart hurts right now. My heart is heavy because I thought that this YouTuber was the one that got me into all of this mess here, and it wasn't. He did file a complaint against me. He did it on video, and they brought it up. They said we had an anonymous tip, I think is what they said. But everything that was mentioned in that complaint was unfounded. Well, I know who the anonymous tip came from. Or whoever, I don't remember if it was anonymous or not. I know who the tip came from, and I told them who it was. I said, I know exactly who submitted that complaint. That was unfounded. There was so to the person, if you're watching this video, I'm going to publicly apologize for thinking that it was you. You did do that, but that is not what got this whole drama started. And my heart hurts because I can't believe who it was. I can't believe, like, man, I have had friends totally screw me over in the past, and it's hurt less than this. I don't know why. We will get to the bottom of it eventually. I just got off the phone with the CEO of Copart. It was Copart that turned me in. I'm seriously, that hurts. This other guy, don't care. It could have been a previous friend of mine that I wouldn't care. Whoever it was, I wouldn't have cared. But I can't, I just can't for the life of me. I thought, I just don't know. All these years, I've been a great customer. I've been a huge proponent of Copart. Let me tell you what I think. I'm speculating, and I want to be clear about something. This was not corporate sponsored. Okay, Copart the higher-ups did not get together and decide they're going to go out and come after me. Okay, I want to make that very clear because the CEO had no idea, and he was like, he's not happy. All right, he did not know about it. So I'm not going to come out and attack Copart, because what I think happened is it's one person, and it was my local yard. So let me explain to you what was just explained to me in this building. I am not allowed to sell cars to the public. I thought that we got around that by selling through Copart. I assumed that since Copart is selling the cars, it can be sold to the public because I'm not the one selling them. That's not correct. That is very wrong, and I'm in a lot of trouble for that, because basically, even though Copart has been selling the cars, it's coming up on paperwork that I sold them directly to the public, every single one of these cars. So I am in big trouble for that. That was not okay. I didn't know that. Well, apparently somebody at the local Copart yard, they did know that. And instead of reaching out to me and saying, whoa, we can't be doing this, instead of trying to get it resolved internally, they sent a bunch of my titles and paperwork straight to the Used Motor Vehicle Commission, and they turned me in for selling cars to the public without a license. Again, I want to make this very clear. I have no beef with Copart. And I don't want you guys going off the handle and causing any problems. Let me handle this. Let Copart handle this. We don't. I'm simply telling you this because I am a transparent guy. Things happen, and I didn't see this one coming. And even though I understand that this wasn't something that corporate, they all got together and decided, let's really, that it wasn't that. This is the decision of somebody, one person. Why this person would do it, I don't know. Who it was, I don't know. They wouldn't tell me that. But it was 100% Copart. So maybe it's somebody that doesn't like me. Maybe it's somebody that doesn't like what we do on the channel. Maybe it's somebody that got sideways with me and I got sideways back with them in the comment section. I don't know. That's what kills me, is instead of coming to me as an adult and trying to figure it out, you've got my phone number. You've got all my information. I've been working with these guys since I started this channel. I feel like I just got stabbed in the chest. And like I said, I just got off the phone with Ken, and he can't believe it. I still can't believe it either. Anyway, let's move past that. That's what it is. That's what it is. These investigators told me, and they have paperwork from Copart that was sent to them. How else could they have gotten that? They told me it was a manager at Copart that sent all this stuff to them and started this whole ball rolling on me being investigated. So please, this is not a bashing Copart video. I'm hopeful that we can figure out what happened and why. I'm hoping we can get to the bottom of it and resolve everything. I love Copart. You guys, God, I love Copart. I buy most of my cars from Copart. I sell most of my cars for Copart. That's why it hurts so bad. Even though it wasn't a corporate decision or a corporate attack on me, it's still somebody that used their position within the company to do this to me. So what's going to happen? Well, I found out that I'm in trouble for not having a rebuilder's license. I buy a lot of cars that are salvage and I rebuild them. And even though they may be cars that aren't even wrecked, flood cars, whatever the case is, salvage for hail damage. There's no rebuilding required. It's just hail damage. It doesn't matter. I am required to have a rebuilder's license, but I can't have a rebuilder's license unless I have a retail license. So here's where we're at. They want me to open a retail dealership. I don't want to open a retail dealership. The reason why is because there's a ton more paperwork involved. A ton more paperwork. I'm going to have the buyer's guides, the odometer disclosure statements, the retail sales contracts. All that stuff has to be filled out and kept in files for years and years. I sure don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. But they're telling me, they're not telling me I have to, but they're telling me basically, we're going to have to figure this out. And right now, the only solution that these guys have is I need to apply for my retail dealer's license and I need to apply for my rebuilder's license. And then we'll go from there. I am going to be punished. They told me they haven't determined the extent of the punishment yet because they have further investigation to do. Now that they know that I've been doing things wrong all this time, they have decided they're going to go back through every car that I've sold through Copart and insurance auto auctions now. And they're going to see how many cars ended up going to public individuals. And then they're going to determine my punishment, which I could be wrong. I've never been through this before, but I'm pretty sure that means penalties, fines and penalties. I have a class that I have to go to in about a week. All of this to make YouTube videos. This is too much, man. It's too much. All of this to make YouTube videos. In order to do the retail dealer's license, it requires changing everything. And the rebuilder's license, that requires completely different insurance on the shop. I'm gonna have to have completely different insurance on my property. I have to have a sign built for the front yard. I have to get an approval letter from the county and the city to sell retail cars now instead of wholesale. There'll be inspections. They will come out and inspect the house. They will come out and inspect the shop for the rebuilder's license because those are two separate licenses. There'll be separate insurance for all of that as well. This is all just to make YouTube videos, man. I said before that this has been a tiring job and it's taken a lot out of me. But man, I'm this close. I'm this close to closing this whole thing down. I'll still make videos. I don't know how or what or where but the things running through my head right now are I'm ready to sell everything here and go somewhere else, like maybe to Indiana. I don't know. I don't know. I've got friends here. We love Oklahoma. We really do. But this is too much. This is too much. I've got a lot of thinking to do. I've got to talk with Jessica. Obviously, we've got some decisions to make. I really don't see us moving from Oklahoma. I don't. I mean, I've got my mom here and my sister, and Nick loves his school, and Jessica's in college here, and we've got friends, we've got family. But I'm just overwhelmed right now. So next on the agenda, I get to go meet the EPA. The DEEQ. I'm so excited to go deal with that. So I'm at a breaking point, man. I really am. I'm at a breaking point. I love making videos. I love interacting with you guys. I appreciate all of you that watch the channel, but seriously, this is getting to be too much. I'm gonna go back to the house. I've got a little while before I have to meet the DEQ. I'm going to do some research and I've got to reach out to my insurance guy and find out, what's the price going to be for a retail dealership and for a shop that rebuilds cars. And I've got to download the packets for the retail license and the rebuilder's license, and I've got to see what's even involved with all of that. Do I need to create separate LLCs? There's a lot that I'm going to have to do. So I'm going to go do that right now. And we'll figure it out. And this is going to be a continuing series because apparently this is something that's going to go on for a while. And ultimately, I think you guys will be most interested in what my punishment is. It's going to come out to dollars, I believe. I think that's, I don't know for a fact, but I think the punishment that they're talking about is going to be financially. You know, they're going to fine me for this. And I think the worst part is I don't know what I'm going to be fined, and now I'm about to pay out a ton of money to get things switched over to retail, and then I might be fined into oblivion. You know, I have no idea. So stick around, guys. We will come back after I get done dealing with the Environmental Protection Agency. So it's been a long day. It's been many, many hours later, and now it is evening. And I've had so much on my mind today, and I just got through dealing with the Department of Environmental Quality out here in Oklahoma. So even though the gentleman, the YouTube person that did this, filed a complaint with the state for the cars, it was bogus. There was nothing that they could come back on me for because the claim was false. However, this claim for this was sent to the EPA directly. The EPA then forwarded it to the DEEQ because that's on a local state level. So the state of Oklahoma got involved. And, you know, I honestly expected people in suits, really uptight and angry, and probably with testing devices and equipment and sniffers. You know, I don't know what I expected, honestly, but that's not what it was. It was a couple of hippies, and I can say that because I told them, I said, "Really, you guys are the DEQ?" I was like we're talking headbands and curly hair and just a t-shirt and jeans, and I was like, I said, I'm sorry. I said, I expected like some really uptight suit wearing, and they laughed. They said, no, we're the hippie variety. And I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Lord. Thank you. Finally, something is going right today. So they told me that a claim was submitted. Apparently it was anonymous. This person doesn't seem to like telling people who he is. And they asked me if I knew who it was. I said, I know exactly who it is. Yes, I know exactly who did this. And even though the person apologized, it's like, you don't, I'm not going to call out the person, and I'm not looking for any more drama or any more beef at all. But it's like, you can't just go and try to trash someone's entire life, turn everything upside down on them, waste hours and hours and hours of their time, days of their time. By the time I'm done with all of this stuff, days, maybe even weeks wasted. You don't get to just mess with somebody's life and then turn around and go, yeah, I'm sorry, it's all good now. No, it's not all good. It's not all good. No, there is no continuing beef, but it is not all good, and it's never going to be all good. So I told them who it was. I said, I know exactly who it is. Boom, boom, boom. Here you go. This person submitted to them, I guess, a video of me taking a hose off of a car and some antifreeze got on the ground. This video was from 2 years ago. They laughed about it. They said, because we saw the video, do you mind if we just look around? They said, as long as you're not like out here dumping things into the ground, we'll be fine. And I told them, I said, I don't do that. I've got containers all over the shop that's full of oil, and Santa's workshop has big 55-gallon drums that whenever I need to dispose of the oil, I don't have to take it to AutoZone and stuff. He's got these giant drums. I am allowed to take it over to his place, fill up his drums with my oil. He's got a place that comes out and picks it up for free. So it's not a problem. I let them look around. They did their thing, and they didn't find anything. Of course they didn't find anything, because I'm not out here just dumping oil and stuff into the ground. So they apologized for having to come out here and waste my time, and I apologized to them because I was like, man, if it wasn't for this person submitting the claim, you guys wouldn't be out here wasting your time. Now, after that, they became such cool people because the lady fell in love with the dog that I've been calling Star. That's not going to be her name. I'm taking her to the vet tomorrow to get all of her shots, make sure she's healthy and all that stuff. But she fell in love with the dog, and I told her the story. I said, this dog was about to fall over the edge of a bridge here in Byers, and I snatched her. I stopped the car right in the middle of a one-lane bridge, and I snatched her. I threw her in my car, and I brought her home. Now, I don't know what to do with her other than make sure she's healthy, take care of her, give her shots. We'll figure that out later. But the lady was like, oh my God. She's like, my dream is to have a dog rescue. She's like, I want a property that I have so much room on that I can go and save as many dogs as possible. And I was like, we connected on that level, you know? And of course, the gentleman that was out here, he saw all the cars and he was like, dude, he's like, I can't believe you've got this car. Is that a Prowler? You know, 57 Chevy. And the lady, what was funny is when she walked in, she was like, is that a Barracuda? And I was like, yes. I said, honestly, I said, I'm impressed that you knew what it was. I said, not because you're a chick. And I didn't want to offend her. Obviously, it's like, not because you're a chick, just because this isn't a very popular car. Like, most people don't look at it and go, oh, that's a Barracuda. So it was impressive that she knew that. She told me about her El Camino. I mean, we started talking cars and animals. And the guy said, man, he said, look, he said, I don't see anything out here that gives me any reason to be worried about anything. He said, you know, we're sorry to bother you. Have a nice day. And can we watch your YouTube channel? I was like, absolutely. So the EPA/DEEQ went really, really well. And that is a little bit of good news out of a really, really stressful and bad day today. I've had a lot of time to kind of reflect on everything that I said earlier and to think, and I even rewatched some of this footage so I could see, like, what did I say? Let me make sure I got all my facts right. And there were some things that I got wrong. Number one, I was not talking to the CEO of Copart earlier. I believe he's the vice president, is the gentleman that I was talking to. And I want to stress again, we don't have all the facts yet. But now that it's later in the day, he's not even working right now, guys. He's on vacation. He's trying to enjoy himself. And here I am dumping my problems on him, and he's already working on it. He came right back to me just a little while ago, and he said, hey, he said, I've got this person working on this. We are digging in to our records, and we're going to try to figure out what happened here, because he's having a very difficult time believing that somebody from Copart did this. Like, this is a big deal. This is a big deal, not just to me, but to him too. He's taking this very seriously enough that he's on vacation and he is working on my case right now to figure out what happened, trying to get to the bottom of it. Now, even if it was somebody from Copart that did this, there's nothing Copart can do. Okay, there's no fixing this. There is no resolution to this because the ball is already rolling and there's no stopping it now. So what's done is done. I'm not looking for any kind of, I'm not looking for any monetary compensation or anything like that. You know what I want, honestly? I want to know who it was. I want to know why they did this to me. And then I want an apology. That's what I want. I'm not looking for somebody to lose their job or anything like that. I'm not a spiteful kind of guy. I mean, I can be if you push me far enough. But generally speaking, I'm pretty forgiving, probably to a fault. And I'm not looking to hurt somebody because I got hurt. I don't believe that hurting somebody else because you got hurt is right. You know, someone did something bad to me, so I'm going to do something bad to them. I don't operate that way. But with that said, you can only walk over me for so long before I will do something to hurt you. Okay, I do have a breaking point. We all do. But I'm a generally pretty forgiving person. So I wanted to stress that even though I was told by the state that it was a manager at my local Copart that turned me in, do we really know for a fact that that is what happened? No. And I just trying to stay neutral here. I'm not saying that the state is lying. I'm not saying that the investigators are lying. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I don't necessarily trust anybody at this point. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not sure. They had the paperwork from Copart. So obviously they got documentation from Copart. But who's to say that they didn't request the paperwork and obtain it themselves? And then I just don't know. So I'm staying kind of neutral right now. I'm not pointing the finger at Copart, and I'm not pointing the finger at the state either. But I do believe that when Ken is done with this whole investigation, trying to figure out what's going on, I do believe we will get to the bottom of it. I believe we will get to the bottom of it. Stay tuned, because that will definitely be in a future video. And I want to make it clear yet again, I am not bashing on Copart, because this was not, even if somebody at Copart did this, this was not Copart as a whole that came down on me to harm me. This was somebody, this was a person that made a decision to do this. If that's the case, I just want to know why. I want to know why, and I want an apology. Because it's one thing to have beef with somebody, it's one thing to not like somebody, it's a whole nother to go after their way of living, to try to take their livelihood away from them, to try to not just affect that person, but that person's family, right? I have a fiance. She did nothing to anybody. She doesn't hurt anybody. Even if you're mad at me or you don't like me, she hasn't done anything to you. I've got a stepson. He's like my own kid. He's 17. He plans on joining the military, serving his country, going to college. He's in football right now. He makes all A's and B's. He's a great student and a great kid. Why would you try to affect him? What did he do to anybody? You're not just affecting me. You're affecting my entire family. And, that is where I start losing my patience pretty quickly. It's one thing to come after me and mess with me. It's another when you start messing with my family. So we'll see where all of that goes. So, again, we'll find out eventually, I think, if this was Copart or not. Next, I've got some big decisions to make, as I was talking about earlier, and I've given a lot of consideration to this. And let me tell you where my mind is at right now. Obviously, the state is going to fine me. I think we can all agree on that. The problem is when I left the office, they told me that they didn't know what my punishment was going to be. Because they were going to dig further into my past to see how many other cars got sold that should not have been sold. I tried explaining to them that I didn't know that I wasn't allowed to sell vehicles through these auctions to the public. I thought that because they were going through the auction, that it was okay. And the gentleman was like, it's your business and it's your job to make sure you run things the right way. Don't pass the buck on to somebody else. And I mean, he was stern. And I'll also say he was a really nice guy, but there were a couple times during the conversation where he became very stern and, he seemed extremely upset. We'll say it like that. But overall, I mean, he was very nice and respectful otherwise, but there were a couple times where I was trying to explain what was going on, and he seemed like he just kind of lost his cool a little bit on it. So I don't know what's going to happen here. I am going to proceed with trying to turn this shop, into a legitimate rebuilder shop, which I don't think we're even on that level to need something like that, but the state says we are. So I guess we are. I'm also going to start the process of transitioning the wholesale dealership into a retail dealership. But there is one big problem, and it's a major problem, and that is we don't know what the fines are going to be. So if I go through all this hassle, all of this work, and all this money to get all of this done, and the state comes back and they say, we're going to fine you, now that you've done everything, we've decided to penalize you $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, I don't know. Literally, it could be $150,000. We don't know what the penalties are going to be. The state even says they don't know what the penalties are going to be yet. So I'm going to tell you this. I have a number in my head. I've discussed this with Jessica. I have a number in my head where it's like, if it's this number or below, I'm going to swallow it and we're going to move on. If it goes over that number, ladies and gentlemen, things are, I just shouldn't say more than that. I shouldn't say any more than that. All I can say is that I have a number in my head that, I would pay and swallow it and just accept that I made some mistakes. This is me not trying to pass the buck on to anybody. I feel like if these cars weren't allowed to be sold to the public, they shouldn't have been sold to the public. I didn't sell the cars. I passed them on to somebody else to sell them. I thought they were following the rules. I'm very confused as to how, but at the end of the day, this is all my responsibility. There were some paperwork issues. Those paperwork issues ultimately are my fault. But these are paperwork issues that should have been given to me and they were never given to me. I even specifically requested these on multiple occasions, and I was ignored. Twice I asked for copies of this paperwork, and I was ignored. So I went in there today without the paperwork that I needed, and I explained to them, I even have the text messages, and they said, too bad, that's your fault that you don't have the paperwork, not somebody else. And I'm like, they didn't give me the paperwork back. I can't make them give me the paperwork. No, it's my fault. So I can be penalized for that. So I can be penalized for every car that was sold to a public individual, even though it was sold through the auction, from Copart and IAA. They are going all the way back in time. So I can be penalized for each one of those. Then I can be penalized for each car that got a rebuilt title. Every car that went from salvage to rebuilt, I can be penalized for that too. Every car that I was missing this particular piece of paper on that I tried to get and they didn't give me, I can be penalized for that too. So we're looking at several penalties for each and every single car I have ever sold over the last 5 or 7 years. I'm going to tell you right now, that could add up to a substantial amount of money. I'm hoping that they'll give me a fair break here, that they'll give me a chance instead of trying to penalize me into oblivion. I'm hoping that we work something out. I want to do this legally. I want to do this right. And there's a benefit. There is a silver lining. If we can get through all of the rigmarole here, there is a silver lining. And that is, lots of you guys reach out to me and you want to buy my cars. I'm actually surprised how many of you out there are like, hey, Randy, I want to buy that. And I'm like, why? Why would you want to buy that? You know, whatever. I can't sell them to you. I cannot sell to the public. I can sell through Copart. I can sell through another dealership. I cannot sell cars to the public. Well, if all of this goes right, then you could come down here and buy a car. Simple as that. You find a car you want, you could come down here and buy it, or you could wire the money and have the car shipped directly to you. So that is a huge benefit for you guys and for me, because then I don't have to worry about getting in trouble at the auction anymore. Then we don't have to worry about a bunch of fees and things on top of the cost of the car. We could just come to an agreement, set a price, buy the car, sell the car. Everybody's happy. So I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. I'm trying to be optimistic that this is the way everything is going to go. But this has been a really, really bad couple of weeks. And I'm going to close the video out with my uncle's house got damaged in a storm, a recent storm. I don't know how bad. I keep calling it my uncle's house. It's my house. I own the house. But in my heart, it will always be my grandparents' house and my uncle's house. I'm just taking care of it for them. It's a weird... I don't know. They're all passed away now, but in my head, I'm just the keeper of the property. This tree looks like it may have done some substantial damage to the roof, and I just put a $20,000 roof on the house and $8,000 in windows. So I have to deal with that, as well as I saw my surgeon just a couple of days ago. My surgeon told me I have to have another surgery. And it's something that will probably put me down for about 2 weeks. I don't know how I'm going to manage to go to these classes, get everything set up for the dealership, get the sign built, get to my uncle's house, get the tree removed, find out what damage there is, get that fixed, start renovations. I'm planning on starting renovations on the exterior of my uncle's house. I can get into that in a separate video. And all while needing to get the surgery. I basically, what it comes down to, and don't forget the 66 Impala, we need to get it running and back over here in the shop. I don't know how to do all of this, and I cannot do all of this if I have this surgery. So for right now, I am going to postpone the surgery, and I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that everything just works out. That's all I can do. Earlier, when I said I really don't care about this license anymore, I want to say one more thing about that. I know I already said it, but it's like I do care. I worked really hard to build this little business that we have here at AAR Auto Sales / Auto Auction Rebuilds on YouTube. I've been through a lot. I've gone through a lot to get where I am today, and to be going through all of this again, it is so tiring. So tiring to have that guy try to take over my channel or steal my name by trademarking my name. I can't even believe that. Like I still blown away that somebody would do something like this. Like totally blown away that somebody would go so far as to try to trademark a name that somebody else is already using so that they can try to take over their channel. And I told you, he rebranded everything. He rebranded his YouTube channel. He rebranded his Facebook. He rebranded his Instagram accounts, all to Auto Auction Rebuilds Official. And I was like, wow. Thankfully, one piece at a time, we're resolving things. And I am determined as a problem solver to do everything in my power to get through this. And hopefully at the end of this, there's a pot of gold. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping at the end of this, this is all going to be for the better and we can work it all out. If things don't go well, this is going to change everything for the channel, because I will probably end up either losing or voluntarily giving back my dealer's license. And this could potentially mean literally shutting everything that we built here down. And who knows, I won't go any further than that. But there could be some really drastic changes in the future, depending on the outcome of all of this. And I am working out the details right now. I am a guy that plans everything out. I like to know everything's planned for every scenario. And I have some people along with myself. We are working on different strategies for different outcomes, because there are a few different ways this whole thing that we're dealing with right now is going to go. And I will have a plan in place for each one. I have things already set up in my mind that if it goes this way, this is what we're doing. And if not, then we're going to do something else. All I can ask you is to bear with me as we go through this. And hopefully we get everything resolved. Hopefully everything is amicable, done in a reasonable time frame, and we get right back to work like nothing ever happened. In fact, that's probably what I'm going to do right now. For example, we have the Corvette. You can see it is no longer sitting outside. It is in the shop, and I've already started working on a few little things like very corroded wiring in the seat. I have some modules on the way, and if things go well, we'll have the air conditioning issue fixed soon. Then we'll address the coolant. We're going to address trying to get these seats working again. If not, I'm going to have to replace this entire lower section with all of the motors. Will have to be replaced. I've got an entire junction box right here, a relay box with all the wiring coming as well. The mileage is probably a screen issue. On the dashboard where the fuel gauge and the mileage is. That's probably something I need to send off to a company to do a repair on. And then over here, just to show you how serious I am, so many of you saw the Corvette video and you guys fell in love with it. And I'll be honest with you, so did I. So here's what I did. I went out and I spent $1,000. Actually, it was over $1,000. Sam Crack, he's the voice of reason. He told me he loved the Corvette. And I said, yeah, man, I just bought some new tires. These are Michelin. These are Pilot Sport All-Season 4s. And I've obviously got front and rear tires. These were over $1,000. And Sam said, why didn't you just get Chinese tires? And I thought about it. And I was like, Sam, I've had a rough day. Okay? I had a rough day. I don't know why I didn't just buy some cheap Chinese tires for this car. But no, instead, I went with the big money Michelins. So there we go. And before we get out of here, I do want to give a shout out to Sam Crack. I told you guys a million times before, he was the guy that motivated me to do this, not intentionally either. He was just making his own videos. And I saw what he was doing and I was like, I could do that. Well, you know, I'm not on his level. And he's done much bigger things than I'm doing over here. But like, without even realizing it, he's the guy that got me into this. He's the guy that I saw out there doing, you know, buying cars from Copart, bringing them home and trying to fix them. And I thought I could do that too. So credit needs to be given where it's due. And Sam Crack's the man. I mean, he's always been like the reason I started getting into this. And he's helped me out along the way. I can call him or text him and ask questions. And sometimes he calls and asks me questions and we bounce ideas off of each other's heads. And, it's a pleasure knowing him, and I talked to him. He actually took the time out of his day to talk to me for 1 hour and 33 minutes because I was so stressed out today over everything, and we discussed a lot of different things. So I want to give a big shout out and thank you to him. I'm sure all of you know who he is. He's way bigger than me, but if you don't, I'll put a link down below to Sam Crack. You should go check him out. He's very entertaining. Nothing like seeing Lamborghinis and McLarens and what was that one that he had? The AMG GTS or whatever, sitting in a cow pasture with cow patties. It's definitely worth watching for sure. And then Jason S. I don't know if he's going to see this video because he's out and about. He's abroad right now. He's not in the States. But Jason S. has also been another voice of reason, somebody that I can bounce ideas off of to say, hey, this is what's going on. And he comes back and says, hey, here's what you could do. Here's what you maybe should do. Think about doing this. So thank you to Jason as well. And of course, last but certainly not least, my fiance. She has gone through a lot of hell with me because of what I do. This whole YouTube thing, doing this channel it's been a major source of headaches and it's hard. It's not easy. It looks a lot easier on camera than it really is, but it's hard, and she has been here and stuck through everything with me, and she's still here helping me navigate through this mess currently. So to my fiance, thank you. Of course, Nick, he's always around, and he's always worried about what's going on, and he's always offering any help that he can to me. So thank you to my stepson, Nick, as well. And of course, thank you to all of you for watching the videos, Santa's Workshop, Monkey Wrench Mike, all my friends, all my family. Obviously, major shout out to all of you as well. Guys, I'm going to get out of here. I would say if you enjoyed the video, all that, but this isn't that kind of video. This isn't a good video. This isn't a happy video. This isn't a video I want to make. There's going to be another update soon, so stick around and we'll see where life takes us next. Stay safe out there, everybody. I look forward to seeing you all again very soon in the next one.